Teddy, another ticket would be too grisly. Will you get in?
All right, Vern, you're worse than a bear with a sore head, you are. Oh, this is nice.
Yes, it's a Renault 5 Campus.
Yeah, 5-speed gearbox.
Yes, but, reverse is my favourite.
Oh, lovely stereo. Whoa!
Nippy, this 1.4 engine, isn't it?
Do you need any bare necessities, mate?
The Renault 5 Campus, now only 5555 on the road.
All right, listen up. We have a fugitive that's been on the run for 90 minutes. Put that gun down!
For video, Woolworths is right up your street.
There's never been a card quite like the Shell Smart Card. It lets you pick up gifts from Shell service stations and save for items from our catalogue, including tapes and CDs. You can also donate money to charities, get UCI cinema tickets, or even collect air miles. Ask at your local Shell service station. Get smart. Get the card.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Georgia Dome here in Atlanta, Georgia, let's get ready to rumble!
Welcome everybody to the American football big fight. In the great tradition of the Rumble in the Jungle and the Thriller in Manila, we're proud to present Two Egos in Atlanta. In the red corner, wearing the Hilda Ogden headscarf and weighing 13 stone 3 without jewellery, Dion Primetime Sanders, former local boy made good. In the black, 3 pounds heavier, and wearing a mean expression, Andre Bad Moon Risen. The winner gets the bigger post-game press conference with the chance to face veteran slugger Big Buddy Ryan in a cruiserweight contest. Well, the opening round was tentative, Sanders backing off and using the space of the Georgia Dome's exceptionally large ring. He took round 2, though, landing the nice uppercut when Risen dropped his guard. Then in round 3, the fight came to life.
Hey, we got some duking going on. Dion's giving that whole field left foot. Did you see that? Right. That's a classic.
The heavily pro-Risen crowd was screaming for Sanders to be penalised for hitting after the whistle. But after reviewing the video, the WNFLBC fined each fighter £5,000, a fraction of their respective purses. By then, Sanders had established a clear points lead on every scorecard over the home fighter, winning a famous victory on his old stomping ground.
I got one thing to say. This is my house. I built this, and this is my house. I don't care if I'm with the Falcons or not. This is my house, and this will always be my house. Now let's continue.
And that suited the loser. He was already talking rematch.
But what goes around comes around. We got to play him again.
And we'll have it exclusively for you in week 14. If you thought all the best fights were on satellite, think again. Well, that's the main event over with. Time for the main game now, and it's an AFC West affair as the Kansas City Chiefs travel to Denver to take on the Broncos. The Chiefs are looking to break a 2-game losing streak, but for coach Marty Schottenheimer it goes much deeper. He's never won in Denver, either when he was with Cleveland or since he moved to Kansas City. He'll be looking to this man to break the jinx, but Mile Stadium is one of the few grounds in the NFL where Joe Montana's never won either. And Joe was without a touchdown pass in 2 games, the longest drought of his career. With just 1 win in the first 5 games, Schottenheimer's opposite number, Wade Phillips, is under heavy pressure from the Denver fans. He desperately needs a little mile-high magic to save the season and possibly his job. And this is the man who could do both. The Broncos win or lose these days, on the arm of the great John Elway. You don't often get the chance to see two legends in the making go head-to-head. Elway versus Montana is one to set the video for. The game's being played in the thin air of the NFL's high point, the Mile High City, and it's a big night for both coaches. Wade Phillips anxious for a win to kickstart the Broncos season. Marty Schottenheimer trying to break his Denver jinx. It was the Broncos who opened the scoring on the second play of the second quarter. Leonard Russell going around left end from 11 yards out. The Chiefs tied it up at 7 apiece, though, through Marcus Allen, straight up the middle on 3rd and 1 from the 7. And that's the score as we join the game on Denver's next possession. They have a 1st and 10 on the Kansas City 38. Your commentators are Al Michaels, Frank Gifford and Dan Deardorff.
As Russell picks up 3. The thing that people forget about is that Denver wanted to go out and get a premier wide receiver, so they made a tremendous offer to Tim Brown. That forced the Raiders to come up with the money to keep Brown, and that's when they went after Anthony Miller. And there's another wide receiver, Mike Pritchard. They acquired him in a trade with Atlanta, but he suffered a lacerated kidney. And Derek Russell, another receiver, a good one, he's hurt as well.
We haven't even mentioned Rob Bernstein. We lost him up in Buffalo for the season, probably with a knee injury. So the Broncos have had their share of injuries.
Boy, the loss of Miller and Bernstein sure has crippled the Chargers, hasn't it?
2nd and 7. Milburn. And the slithery one takes it to the 28 behind a Gary Zimmerman block, close to a first.
Yeah, that's good work by Zimmerman. Keep in mind, this is the left guard and left tackle coming all the way around. Zimmerman from left tackle comes all the way across the formation. Nylander 64, Zimmerman 65. Nylander gets the pin on Neil Smith inside. Zimmerman gets all the way downfield. This is pretty strong work here by the Denver offensive line.
I was about to ask you if you ever did that from your tackle spot.
Yeah, we used to do it. I'm not sure I did it that well, but I did it.
3rd and a short 1, and they give it to Russell, and he pulls his way through the middle, and he only needed about a half yard, and he has it.
Well, Russell, a big bonus to the Denver Broncos, got into a contract problem with New England, 1,000-yard rusher from a year ago. And when Bernstein down, the Broncos were very fortunate to have Russell around. They had 100 yards rushing a week ago in their win over Seattle. A lot of football player there in 42.
You just can't survive these days without a big back, a 235, 240-pound guy.
First down, 27, game tied, 7-7. Elway for the end zone, open is Miller, touchdown.
Well, those are the fireworks. And the crowd loves it.
He beats David Whitmore.
Well, that was the long ball all the way. The Broncos had 3 separate receivers in the end zone. Anthony Miller is the guy in the middle, and Whitmore woefully short.
Elway looked Whitmore off with a pump to the right.
Well, they ran with running both of the outside guys into the end zone as well, Frank. They put the Kansas City safeties in a real bind.
Elam for the extra point.
Aggressive offense from Denver, and they're back up by a touchdown. Here's the Chiefs' next drive with just over 2 minutes left in the half. 1st and 10 on their own 48.
And Montana wide open over the middle. That is Willie Davis. First down to the 27 of Denver. First down, Kansas City at the 27-yard line. They're down by 7, 1:57 to the half. And KC has all of its timeouts. Joe on the run, flushed out, throws it away.
That's the pass pressure that we have said Denver has got to somehow pull together. They have not been doing with the down 4. They do this time as the Sackmeister, as Al called him.
Sackmeister.
Fletcher is right in Montana's face.
One of the few times that Denver has gotten pressure just with a 4-man rush. Joe Montana has not hit the ground yet.
Second down and 10 from the 27. And this time they're able to take Fletcher out of the play, and Montana throws and hits the tight end. It's Derek Walker who makes the catch, gets to the 7, first and goal.
Well, that time Montana was looking for trouble and almost bought it. He stayed alive, kept looking for the alternate receiver, and finally came up with the tight end Walker.
One of the things that he has always done so well is stay alive. That movement, just subtle movements, a yard to the left, a yard to the right. Look at Joe Montana, sense the pressure where it is, and find an open guy. It's just, they're watching it for so long, it's just easy to take for granted.
First and goal at the 7. Anders leaned over to talk to Marcus for a moment. Now Allen in motion. Joe looked toward Allen and then throws it out of the end zone as everybody was covered. Willie Davis, the closest receiver.
That's another thing this man does so well. When they are covered, let's get rid of it. We'll live to fight another day. Just throwing that out of the end zone.
1:32 remaining in the first half.
Quality work by Charlie Waters' secondary, though. That was just outstanding defensive work by the Denver Broncos. This is where noise becomes a physical thing at Mile High Stadium. You can feel it.
Second and goal, and Allen falls down, slips, gets it to about the 5.5.
That was just about the point where John Elway slipped earlier when he went to the bench and changed the plates. Tough footing in that particular part of the field. If we look again, Marcus trying to break it back, sees a little bit of an opening, plants the left foot, and down he goes.
Still tries to squeeze in there for another couple of yards or so.
Ninth play of the drive, third and goal, ball at the 6. Kansas City trailing by 7. Willie Davis in motion. Joe with time, throws back to the end zone, touchdown J.J. Burton.
And you were right about one thing. He had time to look off one receiver. There was a blitz on the part of the Broncos. It was picked up. Montana waited and waited. So Burton got back to the back of the end zone and came right across.
I know one thing. I didn't even have to wait for the official to signal touchdown. Montana does that for us.
That was Andrews with a good block on Fletcher.
Takes a lot of time to come all the way across the back of the end zone like that. As you said, pass protection made it happen.
Lynn Elliott boots it through to tie it.
And that was the halftime score. We pick up the action again early in the third quarter. The Chiefs are driving at the Denver 30-yard line.
Montana throws to Walker. He's out of bounds at the 16-yard line. That's another Kansas City first down. Ben Smith with the tackle. So the Chiefs moving against the porous Denver defense, a defense that's given up an average of 29 points a game.
Boy, and Walker having a big night. Pete Cash sidelined with the knee injury. Derek Walker, the former Michigan Wolverine, former San Diego Charger, filling those shoes at Pete Cash.
On first down, the fake to Marcus. Kimball Anders can't hold it in. The pass a little high, second down.
Simon Fletcher, the guy that time in Montana's face, he's unaccounted for. When you run a screen to that side, Simon Fletcher is unblocked, and it's left to the quarterback to try to get the ball around him to his man. You can see Joe has to go up over the top, and he throws it a little bit high to Anders, but still a very catchable ball.
Kind of uncharacteristic of Andrews. He's a good receiver.
Second and 10. The Chiefs, after going 9 quarters without a touchdown, got 2. Had the drive at the end of the first half, and now this beauty. Second and 10. Allen, gain of 1. Mecklenburg in the middle is Fulton, third down and 9. What a face, huh?
As though Joe might have changed that play at the line of scrimmage in kind of a strange change-off, if indeed he did. It's second down and 9, second down and 10, as a matter of fact. 10:55 left, third quarter. Game tied, 14-14, third and 9.
Now Marcus is split down here to the bottom of the screen as a wide receiver.
Montana looks the other way, goes the other way, and the catch is made at the 4-yard line by Willie Davis. It'll be first and goal.
Little confusion there by Kansas City. Looked like J.J. Burden was in front of Willie Davis and thought the ball was coming to him. J.J. tried all he could to try to catch that ball.
Remember back at the beginning of this play, it was Montana moving people around. I think they obviously were in the wrong position.
I think Davis is saying, hey, it's tough enough to catch the ball out here without my own teammates distracting me.
First and goal. Fake to Allen, that buys time, and a wide open Joe Valerio, the tackle-eligible touchdown.
Well, that's Joe Valerio's second touchdown of the year.
And you have got to respect the handoff to Marcus Allen, the play action. Good fake by Montana to set it up.
That's a customary spot for Valerio, playing the tight end position. He's an ineligible receiver. He has to report, and he fakes the block at the line of scrimmage and then drifts out. And he's got a pretty good reception percentage. 2 receptions, 2 touchdowns. Not bad.
The other came in that win against San Francisco in week 2 when they looked awesome. Kick by Elliott is good.
Tell those grandkids a few years from now, of course I scored against Denver.
Sure, on Monday Night Football.
So the Chiefs take their first lead of the game on what's becoming a trademark goal line play for them, faking the handoff to Marcus Allen and throwing to tackle Joe Valerio in as the extra tight end. We're still in the third. Here are the Broncos driving in Chiefs territory as they look to get back on terms.
First down, Elway from the 44. And Elway escapes and picks up close to 7. The pressure was put on by his former teammate, Greg Fragan.
Well, John jokes about his 6.3 speed, referring to an awful slow 40-yard dash, but I think he's being a little facetious. For 34 years old and a big guy and 215 pounds, that's still pretty spry movement by John Elway.
And a quick move to get out of the trouble.
He's got the bad wheels, the bad knee. Still gets around pretty good.
Second and 3. Russell cuts it back, picks up the first down, takes it to the 32-yard line. 2:30 to go, third quarter. Chiefs lead by 7. Jameson and Fragan in on the stop. Jim Fossil, the offensive coordinator.
He is speaking directly to John Elway.
I was trying to say he's speaking to John.
Kind of unusual for the play caller to be on the sideline. Most offensive coordinators like to work from the press box where they have the good vision of the field.
Well, they have their offensive coordinator and their defensive coordinator, Charlie Waters, both work on the sideline. From the 32, Elway throws, and that's Glenn Milburn with some beautiful moves, and he gets banged down by Mark Collins at the 19, first down. Milburn, good block.
Milburn may be small, 5'8", 175 pounds, but he has some great moves.
Well, I think, is that
leading receiver coming into tonight, and you can see why. You get it to him on a little dump off, and then he turns it into something big.
I think it's Derek Thomas was the guy that he made whiff back up at the line of scrimmage. Oh, look at that. The block at the conclusion of that play by Shannon Sharp.
Good drive thus far by Denver, right when they needed it.
First and 10 at the 19. Broncos down by 7. Here is the rookie, Derek Clark. And he gets 60 yards. Clark out of Evangel College in Springfield, Missouri. A couple of thoroughbreds tonight, of course, quarterbacking the teams. In terms of most wins as a starting quarterback, Tarkenton, Hall of Fame, 125. Unitas, Hall of Fame, 119. Montana, of course, will be there, 111. Bradshaw, Hall of Fame, 107. And Elway one shy of becoming the 5th quarterback to win 100 games as a starter.
I think Steve Hurt came up with an amazing statistic. Both these quarterbacks tonight have
Throwing the ball for what, over 20 miles? Right, over 35,000 yards. Second and 11. Elway to the end zone. The catch is made by Jerry Evans. The flag is down.
He was pushing off in the end zone, and they got him.
Momentarily, they signal touchdown, but if he's pushing off, it's coming back.
Well, there was definitely contact with Jaime Fields, number 59, in the end zone.
He just pushed off with his left hand.
Defense, penalties decline.
And they're going to get
Right. They call it on Jaime Fields.
Good 58, but it's Jaime Fields. A little pushing in the end zone, and Fields gets the flag.
Well, Jerry Evans, the guy who has not been a big part of the Bronco passing game. You see the contact there, and boy, good concentration by Jerry Evans, staying with the football, and a perfectly thrown ball from John Elway.
Fourth reception for the year.
Yeah. First touchdown for Evans for the year. Elam to try to tie it. He does. Well, we've got a beauty.
Oh, what a ball game this is.
And for once, the cliches are justified. The Chiefs and Broncos neck and neck as their two great quarterbacks match arms. That's it for the third quarter. Join us for the conclusion of the game after the break.
It's all worked out beautifully with the new Laguna. Clerics and medics, surveyors and lawyers, airline pilots, policewomen, stuntmen. Since 1824, we've looked after the investment, pension and life insurance needs of all kinds of professional people. Who are we? Clerical medical, of course. The choice of the professional.
Star Wars.
I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
The Empire Strikes Back.
We would be honored if you would join us.
And Return of the Jedi. The Star Wars trilogy, digitally remastered for a price you'll love. Now you can possess the Force.
In a perfect world, there'd be no such thing as traffic jams. Traffic cones wouldn't exist. You'd never see a red light. And always find a parking space. But driving isn't really like this. So we developed Shell Helix, a range of oils specially designed to make sure that at least your engine runs perfectly smoothly. Oil for the real world.
In the perfect world, the roads are absolutely clear again.
Saturday night at 8 o'clock, I know where I'm gonna go. I'm gonna pick my baby up and take her to the picture show. Saturday night at the moon, Saturday night at the moon, Saturday night at the moon, Saturday night at the moon. Come
on! Every week, Delta fly over 220 planes from Europe to America. And that calls for a little synchronized flying. Delta Airlines. We love the way we fly.
It's getting late in Denver and things are beginning to tense up. No more scoring in this one until late in the fourth, when Joe Montana drove the Chiefs into field goal range and Lynn Elliott converted from 19 yards. So the Chiefs are up by 3, but the Montana family have been to Mile High before, and they're not relaxing. Here's Denver back in possession at the 50-yard line.
1st and 10 at the 50. Over the middle, Shannon Sharp. He loses the football, and the Kansas City Chiefs have it at the 41-yard line.
I thought they were going to rule he was down.
George Jameson recovers it.
You know, there wasn't an official anywhere near Shannon Sharp. Oh, and he is distraught. Oh, Shannon Sharp is just beside himself.
Trying to stretch out for extra yardage. Oh, he loses it.
The ball is loose.
Good call to the official, and Shannon Sharp is disrupted.
Jaime Fields creates the fumble. And then George Jameson recovers it. And now Denver has to start thinking about conserving the clock. Allen goes nowhere. And the ball is loose, and Denver has it. Comes up with the football. Can you believe that?
Believe it? I didn't even see it. I did not see Marcus Allen fumble the ball. All right, let's take a look. There's Marcus, 32. He just takes the handoff.
Runs into his own man.
Oh, and there's the football. And Carl Mecklenburg falls right on top of it. You could see the ball fell on the other side of the pile.
He ran into the back of Tracy Green, and Elway doesn't even know the snap is coming. He's lucky he didn't fumble that, and Milburn turns it into a nice gain to the 32-yard line. John wasn't ready for the snap.
They turned something ugly into something great.
Well,
John was getting ready to talk to one of his backs or one of his linemen. He was not aware that that ball was going to be snapped. Let's take a look again. Now he's looking over the defense, and all of a sudden, here's the ball. What have I got?
What a
great look in his eyes.
What a great shot. 2nd and 3 from the 32. Here's Russell. Powers his way just inside the 30 and close to the first.
Never will you see anyone more surprised than John Elway.
How about scared?
Right
here.
those eyes right here. Oh! Luckily, it was a very slow and kind of a fat snap back from Dave Weidel. Well, we have seen just about everything in this ballgame right here.
In case you just came home and turned that on, he handled off to Milburn, and he picked up 7 yards.
So here's a huge play. 3rd and inches at the 29. 2 minutes to go. Chiefs up by 3, and we've got contact and movement, and Thomas came across and wasn't induced is the question.
Whoa.
And then what's going on here?
Well, John sort of precipitated that. You can't really blame Jameson for tackling John Elway.
Well, I think there was a lot of indecision on the officials' part, you know, as well as
I didn't hear a whistle
the play
myself.
stopped. No, I didn't hear a whistle either.
We have the defense offside, elevated to the quarterback. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Well, Derek Thomas was way across the ball.
Each team with all of its timeouts remaining from the 24-yard line. Elway throws. A catch is made by Anthony Miller, and he is out of bounds. There's a leg goes down after the hit at the 10-yard line.
Yeah, Miller was out of bounds.
David Whitmore hit him late.
Well, the official rules that he hit him out of bounds.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness on number 41 defense. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
Well, let's take a look at it and see how far out of bounds Anthony Miller was.
That's Whitmore. I tell you, they're calling this so close this year. Boy, that's tough.
Yeah, that is pretty tough. Wasn't really a devastating blow. Nonetheless, half the distance to the goal line. That puts us up pretty close, Kenny, doesn't it, to that 24 penalties?
It's first and goal at the 5. Now, Elway's been here a couple of times this year. The ball slipped out of his hand against San Diego, slipped out of his hand against Buffalo. What's going to happen here? He gives it to Russell, and he goes nowhere. Simeon makes the tackle. Meanwhile, we talked about Elway and what's happened on opening night against San Diego. After they'd had a big lead, and then they tried to come from behind. John had this ball slip out of his hand. It was ruled a fumble. Junior Seau came up with it. That preserved San Diego's win. Then in a Monday night a couple of weeks back in Orchard Park, New York, there's John on a wet night. It was raining. The ball slipping out of his hand on a 4th down play, and that was that in Buffalo. Second down goal at the 4. 24-21, Kansas City, 1:41 to go. Shannon Sharp in motion. Fake bootleg. Throws back in the end zone. He caught it. Touchdown. Cedric Tillman.
A lot of time remaining, but a great effort on the part of the Broncos. Kansas City saying no, he was out of bounds. He got hit, and that took him out of bounds, unable to get both of his feet down inbound, but
the Chiefs,
that's the reception.
It's still being discussed. It's still being discussed in the back of the end zone.
Well, one official signaled touchdown, and there was the hit by Whitmore that knocks him out of bounds. This is not over yet.
Oh, I think he would have got it down.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be a tough one to take away.
This is going to be
This is a rather anticipated announcement.
Moderately important announcement.
The man that caught the pass went out of bounds and returned.
Wow.
The pass is illegally caught.
He was out of bounds before that.
Oh, that's a loss of down penalty. So they're saying prior to the reception, Tillman went out of bounds somewhere in the end zone, in the back of the end zone.
He went out of the end zone.
And then so it was. They weren't even talking about the end of the play. Here it is, though. We do have it. Once you're out, you can't come back.
We do have it. Here is Tillman right here. Follow him into the back of the end zone. Watch him. Watch his right foot right there. He is out of the end zone.
Mark Collins pushes him out of bounds, no question.
And then he comes back in and catches the ball. Now the other side of that is Mark Collins rides Tillman all the way into the end zone. You know, you could argue this thing both ways. Here's another angle. All right, there's Collins.
Yep, illegal contact.
Yeah, he's shoving Tillman. There's no question that's... You can't argue the fact that Tillman was out of bounds. You can make a valid argument that Collins should have been flagged for illegal contact as well.
Absolutely.
That argument was being made.
Oh, yeah.
Had to have been.
But the official not calling Collins to begin with sees that he's out of bounds and takes it from there.
Right. It's third down and goal after all this. From the 5.
Denver's missing a man. They have 10 men on the field, I think.
And the play clock is down to 5. And Elway had a quarterback throw with a flag down. There's another flag down back at the 8-yard line.
If they didn't have 7 men on the line of scrimmage, if the missing man was the guy who was supposed to be on the line, it's an illegal formation.
You need at least 7, and Wade is saying I had 7.
You do not have to have 11 players. You just have to have 7 on the line of scrimmage.
You're exactly right.
And those are the gestures being made by Wade Phillips. What a bizarre.
Oh, this is incredible.
My initial reaction is that they have 7 guys on the line of scrimmage. It looks to me like they've covered off both of the offensive tackles, which is what you have to do. You got your 5 interior guys, and both tackles have to be covered off, and the officials ruled properly.
They had 7 on the line, and it's a touchdown.
You can go with only 8 guys. A quarterback and 7 people on the line of scrimmage and still have a legal formation.
And this is a significant point after, because it turns a 3-point lead into a 4-point lead. That means the Chiefs have to get into the end zone. So Elway on the quarterback draw. And Jason Elam for the point after with 1:29 to go.
Okay, first of all, Denver only had 10 men. Okay, they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, here are the 5 guys up front, but they're covered off here. They're covered off here on the line of scrimmage. It is a legal formation, even though there are only 10 guys on the field for the Broncos.
There was
So
a
while they
play all the way, there was no question about that.
Yeah, and you know there is a sense of justice here, because Mark Collins is not flagged for the illegal contact. Denver has a touchdown taken away, and they get it right back.
With a lot of time for Kansas City remaining.
Let's find out if it's enough. Here's the Chiefs' first play after the kickoff. They need a touchdown, and they've got 75 yards to go to get one.
Bronx by 4. First down of the 25. The play's shaking. Marcus. And Atwater nearly takes his head off, and Allen is out to the 32-yard line.
Somehow Marcus stayed on his feet after that necktie job by Steve Atwater.
Gain of 7. Second down and 3 at the 32.
All right, the way Denver likes to play defense, let everything happen in front of you. You got the 2 killer safeties in Smith and Atwater. Let them come up and make the big hits.
They give it to Marcus. And figuring he has room through the middle, he takes it out to the 43, and that's a first down. Elijah Alexander with the tackle. And Kansas City takes a timeout. So 1:08, and they have 1 timeout remaining.
Boy, I'm not so sure I wouldn't have tried to get to the line of scrimmage in a hurry and run a play. Tough to put yourself in a situation where with 1:08 left and you're down to your last timeout. You're going to have to burn the clock. It's going to have to run between plays. It seems a running play like that is the time that you can get to the line of scrimmage quickly, more quickly than other times, and run the play.
Our cameramen are terrific as always. This joint is shaking, so occasionally your picture shakes because the building is shaking.
It'd be difficult for Montana to change the play at the line of scrimmage. And this is why.
What a wild scene this is.
First and 10 at the 43. 1:08 to go. Joe to Walker, and he gets into Denver territory to the 49-yard line. Out of bounds, 1:03. Darrell Hall rode him out.
Boy, that only took 5 seconds.
Second and 2.
How's it feel, John? Somebody else is working on
this crowd.
Doing your deal.
Collectively caught their breath for a moment, but they'll be back as soon as Kansas City breaks the huddle.
If you have any sense of history about this league, watching Elway and Montana do their thing tonight. Good stuff.
On second and 2. Off the fake. Joe steps up, drops it off over the middle. Anders very close to a first down to the 47-yard line, but the clock keeps going, and KC wants to conserve its final timeout.
That is a first down.
At the 47-yard line. They move the sticks.
They need something big.
And Joe swings it out far side. It's dropped. Incomplete.
Just as well. That's really a break for Kansas City that Anders drops that ball. After he juggled it once, he might as well drop the thing because he wasn't going to go anywhere with it, and the clock would have kept running.
Joe is 30 of 50 for 346 yards.
Was he 37 of 55 last week?
He's thrown 105 passes in the last 2 ball games.
That's what they want out of this offense.
And more to come. Second and 10 at the 47. 36 seconds remaining. Montana to a wide open Anders. And Anders gets out of bounds at the 36-yard line. That's a first down. 29 seconds.
Ooh, did that missed tackle by Randy Hilliard hurt? That hurt.
Could have kept them in.
Yep. Now, granted, there's still a long way to go and only 29 seconds to go to get there, but keeping Anders in bounds would have really aided Denver's cause.
Well, Hilliard goes 165 pounds. Andrews is 230.
Yeah, but that's a whiff.
Yep.
He didn't trample him. That's a whiff.
Could have kept him in and it wouldn't have been a first down. From the 36, Walker in motion. Joe pump fake and then finds the safety valve. It's Walker. He's got another first down, and he's out of bounds at the 24 with 20 seconds. Bradford with the tackle. This is amazing.
Listen,
Kind of glad you're here.
I'm just glad to be here. You're right, Frank.
Good look downfield. He wanted something deep.
Again.
Saw the coverage. His man slipped, went to his knees, and Montana did a Montana.
Denver better put more of a rush than that on Montana. That's a long time to let him stand there.
20 seconds remaining. Joe over the middle to the tight end, Green. He takes it to the 5-yard line. To the rookie Green. They have a timeout left, and they take it here. First and goal. Well, I tell you, when it takes your breath away at 5,280 feet, it really takes your breath away.
Tracy Green, the rookie from Grambling. Marty Schottenheimer told us this past summer this youngster has an opportunity to become a great football player. An offensive lineman at Grambling.
But look at the alleyway, Frank.
No rush at all, as
no
I said
rush
before, but look at Green, looking the ball right into the chest.
Double tight end set.
He'll look for the end zone.
First and goal. He puts Walker in motion. He throws to the end zone. It is caught for the touchdown by Davis.
What?
Willie Davis. Unbelievable.
Effort by Willie Davis.
Lord, you can take me now. I've seen it all.
Ben Smith with the coverage. Davis makes a great catch. Just gets into the end zone. The throw is right there. Amazing.
Did this lived up to the billing? Elway doing his thing. Montana coming back doing his. I had Willie Davis with one of the great efforts you'll ever see by a receiver.
Again, what killed Denver was their lack of a pass rush. That is as sweet a catch as you will see.
That's
We talked about it all drive. No pressure by Denver on Montana at all. Guys, you know you just can't let him stand there like that. Your heart breaks for the Denver Broncos. It really does. But Kansas City appears to be off the snide.
And Marcus says to Willie, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes, he does.
Well, it'll probably be a while before John Elway and Wade Phillips can appreciate having been part of a classic. But for Montana and the Chiefs, instant gratification.
Well, this team's been snake bitten here as much as I have been, so you kept alluding back to those type of things, and finally we wore them down a little bit and got one.
So Kansas City get the win.